As we pass the midway point in the Women's World Cup season, we take a look at how some of the world's best female cyclists from across cycling disciplines are supported by the UCI, and how their inspirational stories are encouraging a new generation of cyclists. We visited the World Cycling Centre based in Aigle, right next door to the UCI's headquarters, to ask the Federation what they're doing to forward the cause of women's cycling. The president of the UCI is Pat McQuaid. We asked him to tell us a little more about the World Cycling Centre and its role in elite-level women's cycling.
The building we're in here today houses both the administration of the UCI and the World Cycling Centre. And we're in here since 2002, or 10 years, just over 10 years here. And the World Cycling Centre is developed in order to try and find talented athletes from around the underdeveloped nations, underdeveloped federations around the world, to bring them here for periods of time, to try to bring them up to a level, to international level, to qualify them for their own continental championships, for world championships and even Olympic Games. And since we've been operating here for the past 10 years now, we've had representatives from over 100 to 120 federations worldwide have come and spent periods of time here. And we've gone on to produce some world champions, some Olympic champions and Olympic medals, and it covers all of the disciplines, the important Olympic disciplines, track racing, we have a velodrome here as well, mountain biking, BMX and road of course as well.
But what about those riders who come from countries whose own federations cannot afford to pay for them to come to the centre? What help is available to ensure that they reach their potential?
No, it does happen. It happens, for instance, that like a lot of the athletes come here come through Olympic Solidarity, and every National Olympic Committee around the world can access Olympic Solidarity funding to send athletes to training centres for particular sports. And obviously all sports are fighting for that funding, and each NOC, each National Olympic Committee, has to make selections, and some of them will say we'd prefer to send athletes to IAAF training camps, or some would prefer to send canoes or wherever it might be, and so a cyclist mightn't get that opportunity. And then the federation may decide they would like to send a cyclist over here. They may send them over here for a trial, and we would test the athlete, see how he gets on for the first couple of weeks, he or she gets on for the first couple of weeks here. And then if we feel that the athlete has a talent and has a bright future, we can then use UCI funding, development funding, because we have a development fund, you know, that it also comes from Olympic money that we get from the Olympic Games, and we would use that to keep the athlete here and develop him or her up to a stage where they can compete at the international level, and then they either go to it, we would get them into a trade team, either men's or women's trade team, or they would go back to their national federation and hopefully become a national champion and then get selected for world championships and maybe future Olympic Games.
So we went to meet some of the riders who are currently training at the centre to see what life is like and how they're being helped in their careers. Firstly, Stephanie Hernandez, who represented Venezuela in BMX at the 2012 Olympic Games. You've been coming here for several years, but most recently ahead of the London 2012 Olympic Games. How did the centre help you prepare for those games?
It was really good. Training with Thomas Allier is my coach now. It's so special. He had a great training program, and so I'm so happy to be here. He helped me a lot for the Olympic. The preparation was really good, and I feel good training with him, so I come back and I want to do all the years until Rio and until, I don't know, 2020 Olympic Games.
How does the setup with all the coaches and mechanics here help you with your riding?
Yeah, it's perfect because, you know, all you need for training, all you need for eat, for preparation, the gym is here, and you know, you have all things in just one place, and it's so cool because you don't need thinking about what to do with my bike if something is wrong, or I need to go to the gym, I need to take the car or something like that. No, all the places is together, and it's really cool. I like too much, and it's perfect for training.
When you go home to Venezuela, do you look out for new young talent to bring here?
Yeah, I speak with Thomas, and I say in Venezuela are riders, two riders that really good rider, and they come in November for a training camp, Thomas checking, and Thomas said they had so many talents, and so they are here now with me, training with Thomas, and I think they have a future, and that is satisfaction for me because you know, you put a little bit of help, and they are so happy here, and I'm happy too to be with my Venezuelan mate, and we're gonna see.
And maybe you can all go to Rio together.
Yeah, that is what I want, and I believe, and Thomas believes too, they can do it.
And so we paid a visit inside the velodrome to meet Chinese star riders Guo Shuang and her teammate Gong Jinji. How did you get selected to come here?
Fred Manier went to China in 2001, and he selected the riders to come to the center.
How has coming here actually helped your career?
I think since I came here in 2002, and my life changed, and I had a good training here, and I had good results here, so my life changed. That is
What's it like to have everyone in place, like coaches and mechanics, etc.?
super. Like we're all together, and they help me a lot, so I can concentrate for training.
Now when you go home to China and meet younger riders, do they look up to you? And do they inspire you to more?
Since young I came here, and now a lot of young riders look up me, so I'm a like example for them.
For you, what's the most important element of the entire setup here?
If without center, we don't have a really good coach in China. So the most important is the coach is good in the center.
You started coming here in 2002 and quickly made a mark on the World Championship and Olympic scene. What happened to track cycling in China after the 2008 Beijing Olympics, and how did that affect you?
In China, we even didn't have a national team, track cycling team. So I was here and I had a good result. And then after 2008, we find a French coach, Daniel Mohuelon, and he was in China for 5 years. So that's helped me as well to prepare 2012 London Olympic Games. And then after that, he retired. So we don't have the coach, and then I came here.
Do you think your own success had an impact on the wider track scene in China once they saw how many medals you'd won?
Before 2008, we only had few girls to ride on the track bike. And after that, we have more and more. And we had a good result for all of the national team.
And what are you aiming to go for in Rio in 2016?
Yes, the Rio will be next.
The woman in charge of the Women in Cycling program at the UCI since 2012 is Andrea Marcellini. We asked her about the impact the centre has had on the international stage.
Here at the centre, it's obviously we look for boys and girls equally, and there is actually at the moment a focus on girls because of the Women in Cycling project. And at the moment there's girls here that are coming from Muslim cultures. There's girls who became world champions, Olympic medalists from countries where there wasn't even a cycling program, a base cycling program when they started. So this makes us very proud because we're actually helping cycling to globalize, and not because Europe is quite well structured in that sense. But then if you go to Asia, if you go to South America, if you go to Africa, that's a very different reality. So it's very good to be able to find those girls and the young talents and bring them here and give them what they need so they can achieve titles and medals.
We've heard Chuang's experience in China and how important it is to access top-level coaches. Aside from identifying individual riders who come here, what's the UCI doing to encourage the coaching and training side of the sport?
So besides the athletes that come from different countries, we also train coaches here. We give them education, training courses and all that. And so basically through the national federations, the coaches come to us. They go through 2 weeks, 4 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks programs. They stay with us during that period. They follow the training of the athletes that is being done here at the center. They go to competitions with the CMC teams. And this year in August, we're going to have the first female-only coaching course. We have at the moment 12 different countries registered, some from Africa, some from Asia, and some from America. So that's very interesting. And some of those coaches, they're former Olympians. And our intention with that is not only to form those 12 coaches, but also to detect the best of the class and make sure that when they go back to their countries, we follow up with them and we train them to be they will do the replication of this program in their continental centers, so we can have more and more coaches. Because it's true that in certain cultures, the girls cannot be trained by men. They need a female coach, and that's the only way they can get access to the sport.
We've seen a lot today of how the UCI is helping talented riders and coaches to reach their full potential. What are the major challenges the UCI faces in developing women's cycling?
In different parts of the world there are different challenges. You know, certainly in Europe, which is the heartland of cycling, over the past couple of years the challenges are economic, because the economic situation in mainland Europe is not very strong at the moment, and most organisers need the assistance of local authorities to organise races. Cycling is unique, probably, or unusual a sport in that sense. Unlike football, which needs a football field, or swimming, which needs a swimming pool, we need roads, we need closing roads, we need police, we need security. And so local authorities who now, today, are finding themselves much more budget conscious and much more, financially in a difficult situation, have less money to assist organisers organising races. So that is causing a difficulty. So when we ask the big organisers to organise races also for women, they'll say, well, you know, we're struggling with the men's race, and now you're asking us to organise a women's race as well. Having said that, other parts of the world, like South America, like Asia, where the economy is going well, there's a huge interest in developing cycling, both men and women's cycling. And we're now getting more, like the Women's World Cup race in China, in Chumang Island, and there will be more and more of those developing. So it is, I mean, certainly it's global, women's cycling, and the cyclists are global. They come from Australia, they come from Europe, they come from all over, and I think the future is a global future for them. But a lot of the traditional races that we would have known that women's cycling would have benefited from for many years are having difficulty at the moment.
As the president of the UCI, what's your vision for the future of women's cycling?
My vision for the next 5 years would be that we would develop some wonderful, a large number of wonderful female cycling stars. At the moment, the top, you know, you've got a base at the bottom, and it's like a pyramid. And when you get to the top of the pyramid, there's only a couple, Marianne Vos and a couple of these, really, you know. And what I would like to see is that the base gets bigger, and as the base gets bigger, then the top of the pyramid gets bigger. And that we would have several stars from, you know, several different parts of the world. And therefore, you know, the media coverage would be more international, and the media coverage would be more intense and cover more, you know, women's cycling rather than just always the men's side of the sport. And I would like to see that happening. I would like to see more and more organisers of events, of men's big events, also try to organise a women's race as well. It's happening to a certain extent, and I think we need to see more of that. But not just organise a women's event, but also try to ensure that the television coverage that they have for the men's race also covers the women's race as well, and that you know, therefore women get more television coverage. And that, you know, throughout all of our federations worldwide, I would like to see them put a special effort in the next 5 years into developing women on bikes, number one, but also as officials, as commissaires, as you know, on boards of management. And we now have a woman on the management committee of the UCI from Australia. So the more we can get women not just into the sport in activity, but into commissions and into federations and on the boards, then the more women's voice will be heard and the more it will improve.
Opportunities are beginning to open up for a brighter future in women's cycling across all disciplines. It's a hard and long road to establish the changing culture that will ultimately allow parity. But the UCI Women's Cycling Programme is laying solid foundations that can expect to mature into a long, long future.